It's two things.
Did you post links for the stream?
Oh no, clearly I have forgotten.
Did you put the bots on?
I did start the bot, I think.
It's peaceful.
This should work now. What do you need me to do?
I don't know who's all in cotton machines. Should be 3 of those, and then somebody will have to do the sunflowers and spraying probably.
I'm in the. Oh, so I'll do this in close.
Okay, now I fixed the bot. We can start farming.
Well, you went all out on that harvest.
What?
I said you went all out on that harvest.
Yeah, I got the big one.
Have fun trying to keep that lined up with no GPS.
Except I don't have access. Why don't I have access?
Because you're on the stair, the bank front. And that's just like those other contracts. Last week we had a couple of contracts we couldn't do. We had to cancel.
I fixed it. And unlike Tukey, I can actually drive straight. Got numbers down there in the corner that tell you where you're going.
I don't want to look at those all the time.
Howdy, Waylon. How's it going this morning? Welcome into everybody else. Chris, Dwayne, Grizz, T-Shug. How's everybody doing?
Bad till you get that weird hitbox where it takes off like 2 rows when you're not actually driving down.
Took me a minute to get everything, remember how to set everything back up. But we should have the bot up and going. Everything should be normal. If any volume levels or anything are not normal, let me know, as I had to set everything back up this week. Normal here is a relative term, that is correct. What did everybody think about FarmCon? If anybody's caught up on all the news,
Some of it's pretty interesting.
what's everybody most excited about now?
It's hard for me to pick, honestly, because everything that's coming out is interesting.
Look at the same thing.
I think the new production will be quite good. How that's going to work.
Yeah, I think the kind of more visual productions are going to be nice. That'll be a nice new feature.
Kind of hoping it's going to take a while to do as well as complete the boat. It's not just a couple of loads in it and be done.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to need a lot of input, so hopefully it's worth the time.
Well, and there's an input on there for metal that we don't really know much about yet, so we'll learn more about that in the coming weeks.
Putting my theories together with the new water dynamics and bolts and stuff like that. It was fish farms.
I think a lot of people would like to see some fish and fisheries and stuff like that.
I know one guy who likes fish for sure.
I was going to say Raz will go nuts when they have a fish farm.
I should send you that vid that I posted that Dwayne saw yesterday that I tagged Raz in.
I laughed. I'm going, oh yeah, that's just funny.
I did my duty. I made one bale for you.
Dwayne's already got a bale. I don't have one yet. I think I would with this bigger thing.
I'm working
Howdy,
on a
Matt. How's it
small
going this
area that
morning?
he
Good to see you in
sectioned
here.
off Earlier. I'll plot it here on the south end. Yeah, and then I got off course.
If you two other guys want to lease another cotton harvester, just use the bank farm.
Well, Hydra's doing the sunflower harvest. I think it's sunflowers. And I figured I'd just man the tractors and pick up rolls and unload him. Gonna bounce around a little bit.
Ah, it's good that you got your power back, Matt. It's good to hear. Did you get some rain up there, knock 'em out?
It's a nice one to put a ditch right there to dump the bales in.
Yeah, just watch them roll down.
Why don't you drop yours in the corner there, Dwayne, and I'll put mine with it?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, that is right, Matt. I did see the pictures you posted. Looked like a bad one.
Oh, I didn't get that on camera.
What'd you do?
That's some good. I have the JCB and the trailer in the air. The field is being surrounded by stream bed.
That tractor does some funny things when you hook up to that, by the way, if you unhook from it.
Might have to buy that Field 8 on the Red Farm.
You ready to get your grass empire going?
I think so. It's German ploughed states. So, the ideal time to buy it while it's empty.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad time to do it. If you want to do that
Okay.
today, that should be fine.
Wrap it and seed it, get it going. Won't be able to seed it, I don't think. Yeah, Lancyboi, and I'll have till March to get it prepped. There's no rush on that. Yeah, see until March.
I got enough money, I can finally buy a field whenever we do the update. And I don't know if Dwayne's got any sort of plan for the blue farm. I think he probably does.
Yeah, I was thinking about buying field 2 there the other day. You know, I have those 6 chickens just producing eggs, beating it down. Didn't know we even had animals on there. All of a sudden, I'm going, what the heck? There's chickens here. Oh, they're almost dead.
I didn't know we had any animals either. I don't know how we got them. I think they must have came with the map.
Yeah, there's a couple chickens when you start the map. I think that was one of the first things I sold when I tried it.
Speaking of chickens, there's a rooster.
Oh yeah. Speaking of chickens, there is a rooster. Howdy, rooster. How's it going? Thanks for dropping in.
There is.
Hopefully, Grizz isn't too hungry today, or we may be missing a rooster.
Well, surprised that everybody doesn't have more to say about FarmCon. Thought for sure that was gonna be all the conversation today.
I missed loads. Well, I literally missed everything.
I haven't seen all of it yet, but I finished Klein's summary video
That's
right
all
before
I've
the
watched.
stream started. I mean, still, the forestry stuff looks pretty cool. I'm kind of excited to try that out, even though I haven't done forestry much in the past. The only thing is, I think some of that stuff is going to be a little tricky for, those playing with controllers rather than
That's what
mouse and
I'm
keyboard or
curious is how some of that stuff's going to work with controllers. But I think it looks to me like it shouldn't be too bad as far as some of it, because you won't be in a vehicle, so you won't have all those controls going on. Morning, CBW. Thanks for dropping in. How you doing this morning, buddy?
Be interesting to see what the 40 vehicle will be.
Well, that's part of it. So, it's 40 things in that pack, and they showed off 8.
Well, who's all buying that hose and pump pack?
I'll buy it 'cause it looks cool. I've always wanted a drag line setup like that in Farm Sim.
I'll probably buy it and use it once.
Yeah, it's
Slurry
gonna
is
be like
not,
the grenade pack.
not part of my normal fertilizing routine, but it looks neat. I'm a little disappointed they didn't do fertilizer as what you can put in the hoses or through the hoses, but it's new stuff, new mechanics, so.
Oh, I could see it being beneficial if you're going into big cattle farming or big hog farming.
Doing
Then
good,
I could see
CBW.
you're getting a lot
Doing
of
pretty good
slurry.
this morning.
Might as well use it, right? But
Well, that will be kind of the nice thing about the pack is if you do have a slurry deal on your farm, a pit, you can just run your hose right into that and do your field. You don't have to be doing much messing around once you get it set up, because you can just pull it right out of the pit. That'd be kind of nice.
The amount it uses though. You use slurry or digestate or something like that. I suppose it might eliminate some of the backwards and forwards every time you fill it out.
Well, and that's so we haven't used precision farming very much. So I don't know what the rate of slurry it puts down when you're just kind of putting your first layer of fertilizer down with slurry or manure. I don't think it's near as bad as the base game.
On Frankenmove,
Slow it down a
The-
bit, I think.
when we played Frankenmove on that big field by the main farm, it took 300,000 litres. And to do one plot on Western Wilds, it takes 190,000 litres.
He kept talking about adding water too, so you must be able to thin it out so it goes further.
Yeah, they did talk a little bit about water, and I wasn't quite sure what they were going on about.
Yeah, they never really went into detail about it then.
Be interesting to see if the pumps and hoses leads into irrigation.
Well, I think, you're starting to get a base there for something like that.
But wouldn't they need to thin it out anyway to get it to go through the hoses and whatnot? I've only ever seen that on a farming video once. They were dragging the hoses around, but
The places doing it here, they usually got like a big aerator in the pit that helps thin it out.
Yeah, you
I-
stir
I
it.
think they probably do it differently in Europe though.
I know Tom Pemberton's had pipes added to the bottom of his, and it goes off every so often and shoots air through it to keep the consistency of it.
The worst is when the pit's got overflow under some of the hog buildings and the vent fans just start spraying the stuff out of them.
No, you
Yeah,
don't.
I think
You don't want to slurry back up. That's not going to be good.
I think it'll be good. I think it's something, it's another process. It's, we've just did the grapes on Western Wilds this week. First time I've done grapes. Not too bad a process.
Well, and anything that adds a level of realism like that pack does is nice. You got hoses, you connect them, things run through them. It's kind of a new way to do things. I like that. So that's why I said I was just disappointed that it's just slurry and digestate, and not
Do you think it will
liquid
include?
fertilizer compatible.
Do you think it'll include wasn't there a mod on 19 for PC?
That's the manure system mod. That's basically what it is. And that was made by Wobster, and I did not know, but I do know now that Wobster is a part of Creative Mesh, so this is your manure system mod for 22.
I left another cotton bale down here on the southeast corner of the field.
Alright, bring by and pick that up.
I never used the manure system in 19, so I can't say as how user-friendly it was or anything. I think Tukey did a little bit.
Yeah, I never did. I just watched Klein's videos on it and it looked pretty clunky to me.
So I was hoping they smoothed it out a little bit. And I watched Klein use it a little bit, and that's all I really seen about it. It's a really interesting concept, though, so hopefully it works fairly simply.
It looked smooth in their presentation, the way everything worked, especially the animations.
Not useful in small farming maps, though. You have to have big farms. You know, like I said, really big animal operation in order to be
Well,
beneficial to use that.
you need small fields and a big animal operation to be ideal. Because your fields get too big, like Hydra said, it just takes so dang much to get across the field, and it becomes unfeasible, and it's not really cost effective, because usually it pays out better to run it through the BGA and get your money and use liquid or solid fertilizer.
Interested in the BGA side of that too, is they talked about making, what was it, manure solids or something that you can sell or bed your animals down with out of it.
Yeah, so they didn't really go into how that works, as they talked about manure separation. So I'm not quite sure what that entails, but yeah, you could separate
that'd be
something out.
Yeah, you could actually separate some of the solids out of it to make a dry manure type of thing to go for greenhouses, compost, bedding. You can dry it out and reuse it as bedding for your animals.
I think that'll be fun. So even if you don't want to use the hoses, you could go for that.
Hello,
side of
Michelle.
things.
Welcome in. Thanks for
Yeah,
dropping in
it's
this
almost
morning.
like,
Hope you're
using
having a good Sunday morning.
The straw harvest stuff when you're making the pallets, using that concept.
I always liked the idea of straw harvest, but I honestly never played with it on very much.
Never did it either. Mind you, I only got on to 19 3 months before 22 came out. So
I used straw harvest a bunch because, you know, when I was in console, we don't get very many neat things. And that was about as neat as we got, so I used it all the time. Making them pellets was something different, and it was quite a bit of fun. Little disappointed that we're not going to get that machine back, or it doesn't sound like we're going to get that machine back, but
Yeah, sounds like they pretty much moved on from any plans to port straw harvest over.
They're just putting a lot of time into pumps and hoses, clearly.
Maybe just
Although-
need a modder to make like a pellet factory. If only we knew one.
well, and it may come, you know, because they got another year. I suspect we have at least one more year, possibly two.
Yeah. I have a feeling we're probably going to get
Hello,
a
Eric.
year or two season
Good to see you in
pass
here, buddy. How's it going this
with
morning?
how well
Thanks for
year
dropping
one's
in.
gone. A whole new set of DLC.
And Quick Draw, same to you. Good morning. How you doing?
Yeah, I was asking. So I was about that the other day actually. Because, I never really got any of the DLCs. I took a big break during 19, so I never really bothered with a lot of the DLCs for 19. But pretty well invested in this one, so I'd like to try
I guess we'll
and keep
see
up to date
another,
with the packs, see even if it just saves a few quid to get the season pass. It's not, you know, it's not. I think, didn't Farmer Klein say or something? If you, as long as you had 3 of them, 3 of the 4 packs, it was worth buying the season pass.
Yep, if you are interested in 3 out of the 4, you know, the one you wouldn't have got, you basically get for free, so it works out all right.
And everything's been good for 22 so far. I think that Antonio Carrio's probably been the weakest one, but even that's not that bad.
Well, it adds a lot of, you know, tractors for the people that are doing grapes and olives, because without that pack, there's really not much. pretty
Yeah.
limited, so adds a lot
Maybe-
as far as that goes.
There is some cool stuff in which you like the little quad track.
But that's also good for little farms. That, you know, there's always these little Polish maps that come out that have, you make 3 rounds with a regular tractor and you're done. You could always use some of that if they just bring out a few more pieces of equipment to run that smaller.
That little base game event though, the grapes and olives. You have to be careful going around the corners, but too fast with that one. I found out yesterday.
Yeah, those little vineyard tractors don't take much to flip on.
Well,
The,
they're
um,
awfully narrow, so
We're using the variable width vines on.
Yeah, I got room for one more.
You know,
So
we've got
excited
the
for that methane tractor, then come to find out it doesn't do anything. you need to.
it's 7 miles an hour of useless tractor.
Yeah, and it can't really pick anything up that's worthwhile using.
you might get a different.
Yeah, I'm excited for all the stuff though, but then when you start talking about stuff, there's a lot more that they can add or expand on to make some things like the methane tractor a bit more useful. You know, we don't have much for electric vehicles. There's a lot more you think they could probably add there. Everybody seems to have a prototype now. What a better way for companies to show off electric prototypes than in a video game. Hey, Rabbit Rob. Welcome in this morning. Thanks for
Good
dropping in,
industry
buddy. How's it
advertising.
going?
But will that open up that with the new productions, with the boat building and the new? Will that open up the ability to do things like that for other markets?
Depends what they release as far as any code goes. They may lock it all away, we may not get to touch it, or they may give us little snippets of things. Like I know guys already asked about the trees, that they would like to have the new tree types, but Giants may say no, we're not going to let anybody have any of it, so it's up to them is what they
Then they're,
release and let us mod.
I hope they're a little more generous now that they're self-publishing, because that really sucks if they don't let you have access to at least some of that stuff when they've been showing it off so much.
Well, yeah, like, you know, trees is, you know, a tree is a tree. But the more tree types you have, the better, you know, the better you can make a map feel because you got more types of trees. Ah, Rabbit Rob, airing his dirty
Like
laundry,
the
like
winches and
always.
cables, they did mention that. You know, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that in the next version of Farming Simulator. So, sounds to me like they're planning on keeping things tucked away from the modders until at least the next version.
I don't suspect we'll get to mess with the winches and cables till the next game.
Yeah.
But that's something, you know, it's always something to be excited for in the next, you know, in the next game, is every time a DLC or something is released, that means in the next game we get to take that, whatever it is, and start to modify it. Even something as simple as like the bell counter is part of the Vermeer pack, so that should be, you know, base game functionality. The passenger script in the next game should be base game functionality, which means modders get to mod it too.
Maybe it'll be the same for the productions then. We'll have to wait for the
So
Well,
yeah,
I'm
you know,
surprised.
if there's anything in the productions that they don't let us have, or we can't figure out how they're pulling it off, definitely in the next games, because I don't think productions are going away. I think it adds way too much to the game.
Well, you had
Yeah,
the
just
dog come out on 19, and I'm surprised that they have not been able to put that dog into the truck now that you have passenger script.
Oh, you want your passenger dog to make him
No,
useful?
I don't. Yeah, to make him useful, yeah. I mean, I never put a dog on my farm anyway, but that's beside the point.
We need to be able to name that dog so we can all name it Farmer Klein.
Then you got guys like CBW, they're having ice cream for breakfast. What is up with that guy?
Yeah, what is up with that?
And he didn't bring any ice cream for the rest of us. That's fairly rude.
I'm pretty sure I probably got some vanilla ice cream tucked away somewhere still.
Mix cornflakes with the ice creams? It's just
Oh,
milk and
little-
solid form.
Little ice cream cereal? That actually sounds pretty good. No, I think we still got more to learn about the expansion too. Like I said, they only showed off 8 out of the 40 vehicles and pieces of equipment that we're supposed to be getting, so there's still a lot more to show off there. And then on the boat, one of the fill times was metal, and I think we've seen a foundry building in the teaser video, but that's all we know so far. And I guess you have to get iron ore, but how do we get iron ore? Is it going to be a pile? Are we actually going to be able to dig a spot out of the ground? I don't know how that's going to work.
My guess is it's going to be like a pile or a pit of some kind that slowly refills over time. 'Cause I don't know much about modding, but what they just have to add it as like a new fill type pretty much.
You just have a fill type, and the thing is, usually, so if you are on a map that has like a lime mine where you actually scoop it out or whatever, there's only a certain amount there, and once it's gone, so I don't know how that's going to work.
I guess it's not going to grow in the field though.
It's a pretty good guess that you're not going to be able to grow it in the field.
Didn't see much field-wise in that video, just a few fields in the bottomland it looked like.
Yeah, and they said for sure that they weren't going to show off the PDA, so you won't be seeing that anytime soon. See what it looks like.
They're making a point not to look towards that, what Klein call it, roller coaster possibly.
Yeah, I
So
would.
there's definitely something big hidden over there.
I think it's safe to say.
I think that quote roller coaster is like a rail system for the iron ore. You know, as they used to have them carts that would go down into the mine. That's what I think that is.
That would be cool if they actually set something up like that to work.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking that was.
Because that's what it looks like.
I suppose that
Yeah,
way you
I
wouldn't
think
need
that's
to
what
worry
I thought
about
was.
a depleting source if you had
Maybe the,
parts going away into the mine and then coming back out full. Then
yeah,
This
cart
is-
goes into the mine and it brings you so much back out. That way it's
You
just
got-
automated into the game, but visually neat.
I kind of wonder if that's not, you know, something that's like the remains of an older version of that mine, because, you know, they got all the Volvo equipment that they've been showing. They've been showing that big dumps. So I'm sure there's going to be something big that you need to take those big trucks down there and fill them up with a wheel loader.
They mention an old mine at some point too.
Well, when that was the very first thing they kind of talked about. As they went around the map, is they talked about an old mine and a new mine, and that was at 3 o'clock in the morning, and my brain wasn't quite functioning that well, so I don't remember exactly what they were talking about.
Yeah, I still didn't watch the replay. I've only seen Klein's recap videos.
And Chris brings up a good point. He says it could be part of a log flume system because they talked about floating logs, so it could be something to do with that as well.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the log floating thing. I wonder how that's going to work, because it's going to be automated once you dump them in the river.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting system to see how that kind of works, because that's going to be all new, because things don't float in Farm Sim. The water isn't water, because we know it.
And are they going to float down to a cell trigger, or are you going to have to try and get them out?
I assume they will float to a cell trigger. I don't think you're going to want to be fishing them back out, but...
Sorry, Schultz, got my keys mixed up.
I see that you turned your lights on. I did the same thing back there in the other end.
Well, at least this time I didn't disconnect my toolbar. Done that once or twice. Driving down the road, all of a sudden, instead of hitting the W, I hit the Q. Oops.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot to be excited about, and I think there's certainly a lot more we're going to learn about the expansion, I think.
Well, with boat building and, you know, what were they talking about? Being able to haul logs, to buy planks. You know, our farm building in the next iteration going to be something that you can log and then get material to build your shop or house or barn.
Well, I think if they pay attention to the content creators, a lot of the popular series, or it seems like everybody does one, is a pioneering series where you know, start with nothing, start with a chainsaw. So might be some cabins or something like that in the future that you're allowed to, you know, basically make your own stuff to build whatever you want to build. Kind of a system where you make your own materials and then you can use your materials to build. A material system, that's the words I'm looking for.
Wasn't a roof or floor tiles one of the things you needed for that boat too? So I wonder if that's going to be a whole nother production chain.
Yeah, it showed, I think it showed 4 tiles.
Yeah, it was some kind of tile, I know.
I think it would be good if then modders could make, you know, almost like the foundations. You add a foundation to your map, and then you've got to add all the materials over a length of time to build something. I think I just like the idea of having something that's not, you know, takes a while.
Well, that's all a whole new production. Floor tile, if you're talking linoleum type rubberized or vinyl type stuff.
Well, or is
you
it
got
ceramic
canola
tile?
Well, you're using canola oil, linseed oil. Add a new crop type.
Yeah, I think they definitely still have some more cards up their sleeve. They haven't begun to show everything off yet.
They were saying about was it the sawmill that you don't actually own, but you take
Or
product there to get
yeah,
stuff out.
maybe call
That
it
might
like
be good.
public access or something.
That might be good for like multiplayer, especially if you've got multiple farms and you want.
Well, that's kind of the current flaw with the current production system is somebody has to own it. You know, you have to own it, which makes it not necessarily multiplayer friendly. Whereas that, if you have, you know, like co-op sort of production where you take your logs off, they give you some money or whatever, or, you know, you have a fee you pay, and then you get planks back out, and then you can sell your planks. I think that's a better system than the current setup we have. Then it allows everybody to use it.
Sunflowers are done.
I think Pheasant left you the spraying to do.
Gonna be dropping another bale on the south here.
Yeah, I gotta unload the last of the sunflower and then I'll come over and grab some bales.
Keep dropping them in the waterway because I know they won't roll away.
We've still got a fair amount to do here before we jump to 12.
Just don't look at the streaks that I missed.
I looked over there and I seen them. I think we got a few too, so not a big deal.
I was fine on my up passes. It was the down passes that I couldn't keep lined up for some reason.
One of these fields, this one is one of them. I've got some little hills, and they can fight you a little bit trying to go straight.
Any idea what that map was that FK was teasing for the possible first look today?
I haven't looked around the webs much, but I heard that Black Sheep Modding maybe has another map. I don't know.
Oh, all new, I wonder if it's another 4-to-1.
Well, I'm trying to think what they've had in the past other than Old Stream Farm. Do they have a second map?
They had a bigger one that was like European themed still. I can't think of what the name of it was now though.
Can't remember if they had a bigger map. I only remember Old Stream from that.
I saw Griffin, Indiana was confirmed too. I enjoyed that map in 19.
Yeah, I enjoyed that map as well. Oh, Chris Miller wants everybody to introduce themselves, so he knows
Chris has heard some of us before.
And not all at once now. Dwayne, you want to go first? You want to say who you are, Dwayne?
Dwayne.
Tukey?
I'm Tukey and I drive way better than Schultz.
Fezzik?
I'm Fezzik. I'm also Roscoe on the screen.
Hydra?
I'm Hydra, and I think everybody drives better than Schultz.
Oh, we'll get along just fine then.
And I think that's everybody. I don't think there's anybody else hiding around in here.
Oh, I thought you meant that everybody thinks that they can drive better than Schultz.
I think everybody thinks they can drive better than me, but I've yet to see anybody prove it.
Oh, we'll find out in a few hours.
Bad things just tend to happen when you get going at it in ATS and banging into each other.
I don't think that game in its physics like our style of driving.
No, not at all. I'm not even sure how me and Klein wrecked the last week. We barely made contact, and next thing I knew, we both went flying.
Well, that's what happened when we were bump drafting, and then all of a sudden I went flying. I'm going, well, how is that possible?
Oh, it doesn't like you coming up behind somebody and trying to give them a push. That
No,
makes that
not at
game
all.
very mad.
It does weird things if you get your mirrors hooked on each other, too. Yeah, I think we all remember when we were messing with those trailers and sent Rob into space.
Oh, I forgot to put my bail down. Who let me forget?
You did.
You're carrying a little extra weight on your back end there.
I don't think I can make it all the way back around there. Oh, I'll give physics something to do, find the bail in the field.
I'm going to have one here shortly, too. So. Okay, so this new thing on ATS there with mods don't have to match when you're on convoy, or is that just...
Well, we don't understand it because me and Klein tried some stuff last week and we couldn't get anything to work. We had to have matching mods. So I don't know if there's a spot where you set a mod to be optional, but we tried a couple different things and we couldn't get anything to work.
Oh, that would be like when you were driving without a trailer, at least in my viewpoint. I didn't see your trailer.
Well, that trailer was not modified. It was just a base game trailer, so I think
Yeah,
the
but did
bait
you
is...
have a custom paint scheme on it? That's what was hiding it?
Yeah, I did have a paint scheme. I don't know if the paint scheme was from a DLC or not. I don't remember. Mostly because I don't know which paint schemes are part of DLCs and which ones aren't.
Yeah, I dabbled around this morning a little bit on ATS. I did have a new trailer skin that I figured I was going to throw on, but I'm going, well, if it's just going to show up as a blank canvas.
I got a couple trailers I'd like to add, and I'm going to wait till after Montana's been out a couple of weeks and we explore it. What's that one that just came out a couple of months ago? Super Sail or something?
Oh yeah, the old one from...
Smarty.
Smarty,
I couldn't think
yeah.
of his name there. I was blanking. And there's
That's a nice old trailer.
Yeah, there's a fruit hop I like on the SCS forums too. That could be a drive-in or a reefer. Another old trailer.
Somebody was asking me the other day, Shops, were you saying about possibly doing some extra streams throughout the week? So that you might be streaming on the new map.
Get your shame here.
Yeah, I'll be doing more streams. I'm looking at doing some videos. We just got to get my girlfriend's work schedule settled in. She's still training, so every week is a different shift for her. So things are a bit chaotic around here. And Chris wants to know if we think soil compaction will be a part of the next game, which he does have a little point there. They did talk quite a few times about soil compaction.
Yeah, they sure
be part of
mentioned
it,
it a
too.
lot. I can see it coming with precision farming at some point. So it makes sense to roll it in with the realism stuff.
Yeah, I think the precision farming guy touched on it quite a few times, and then that's kind of what that umbilical system or that dragline system from Creative Mesh really is supposed to help out. You're not tanking the tanker across the field, which should reduce compaction.
Was the precision farming segment as bad as last year's?
Oh, yeah, I mean, that guy talks at speed and is somewhat excitable because you can hear him in the background. He is just fired up about, I don't know what he's fired up about. He just talks. And there was really not a whole lot of information about any plans of, you know, what they're going to implement into the game. They was asked, you know, people talked about introducing, you know, different trace minerals. You know, like a lot of people have to put down potassium. That's a pretty common part outside of nitrogen that people have to use some of. And it did sound like that they were aware of that. They were just kind of trying to figure out how to implement it, how to get the engine to handle it.
Has anybody been using precision farming since last day?
That's pretty much all I use on my single player. But I never really had any major issues with it to start.
Seems that it's not on this map. I haven't used it because this is the only map I'm playing right now.
I'm going to add it to this map whenever we get an update.
I start jumping in here more because I don't think the FP Bloomfield server is going to last long. Because everyone moved over to, what is it, Coronella.
And I see they're having slot count problems.
Yeah, those guys like to buy stuff and get impatient.
That's part of why we do everything here as kind of a co-op, because the slot counts is just... Not that we should ever really run into an issue, but it helps when you're all using the same equipment. This is really our oddball map. We're trying to sort of do 3 farms, but it's not really 3 farms.
I just hammer out contracts.
Well, that's all there is to do, so...
Yeah.
I know.
What was you going to say, Hydra?
I was just going to say that I know of a good multiplayer server on Western Wilds that's open to the public. It's looked after by a couple of decent blokes.
Yeah, if anybody's looking for a Western Wilds server, in the Mr. CLP Discord, we run a good one. I think they probably own, what, half the map? Nearly? Maybe a little more?
Yeah, pretty much the north half of the map. And probably about the south, I think, maybe a bit more. We're just finished doing, just got grapes down now, so we can start doing cereal, which is the last ingredient we need for reputation pallets. We should have reputation pallets maybe today, tomorrow. Looking at adding some more production buildings because pretty much the ones we've got now are all running and stocking up, so we've got nowhere for the wood because there's a lot of trees to cut down.
You could just sell the wood.
Money's not an issue. Kind of feel like you need something to do, even if it's just to make some stuff. I think we were looking at adding the empty pallets and barrels, so we can make a few of those and sell those, so there's kind of something else to do.
You want
The
to start
carpentry.
just going around now instead of cutting off the top and bottom?
Quick Draw says he's just glad that console players are finally getting some good DLCs and mods. PC has been king, but now consoles are getting some of the same stuff. And winches are a big example of that. The only thing console really doesn't have is GPS. That's really the
He was gonna.
only holdback for me.
Sure, Giants is looking into a way to create GPS over the console, how many people want it. It's
Well, and
pretty much
it's-
a part of farming.
Such a big part of farming nowadays. I think, in the next game, if they don't add it to this one, which they still could, we still got, like I said, another year or so. It takes 1,000 subscribers, Rooster, before you can have some of those features on YouTube. I missed a bit.
I don't want to be anywhere near one of these cotton harvesters if they caught fire with a load in them.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if they catch fire like, everything else on Earth. Like combines catch fire, balers catch fire, and this does both. I imagine they have to catch fire.
There's a big old fire extinguisher right on the outside. I'm sure a field of cotton goes up pretty fast.
Oh yeah, I've got a fire extinguisher. Not a very big one. I missed a whole row.
I didn't see I had a bale already.
I was too busy looking for my fire extinguisher.
Yeah, I can't imagine if this cotton ever caught on fire with all the oil that's in the seeds. Like a big old grease fire.
Yeah, fresh bale like this in the field, I don't think you can put one out. I think you probably just have to let it burn.
Surprised yesterday when I went out for a bit that someone actually had a field of oats ready to pick. Hardly anyone plants that around here anymore.
The wheat guys came through here about a week or so ago. They're gone now.
It's still predominantly corn and beans where I am.
Yeah, that's about all there is here. Corn and beans. There's a little tiny bit of wheat, and there's one guy with potatoes.
I was lined up, but you must have had an odd row, so I'm going to back up and miss it. Pick it, I should say.
This thing is just dropping bales off wherever it feels like it. Any missed row, you can just blame Dwayne for just following Dwayne.
Sure.
I was okay at first, and then somebody must have been out of alignment ahead of me.
It's the hills.
I like this map having the kind of rolling hills in the fields. Feels kind of
If
like
I
here.
had any complaints about the crops in this game and how, you know, everything kind of works, the row crops could be a bit more row croppy instead of working with the, because you can harvest a row over that you're not on, and you can miss a row that you are on.
Yeah, that's my main issue with corn and cotton is it's very obvious that it's just, how do I put it, like a texture painted on the field pretty much.
I
Yeah,
thought it had
it's
something
not
to do with a trigger on the header or something like that.
not being handled in an actual row. It's just, you know, you're taking a swath out of a hole, which works well. You know, you don't really run into that problem with your wheat and your crops like that, where it's not a row crop anyway, but your row crops could be a bit better. I don't know exactly how they would do it, but
Yeah, I think you'd have to fundamentally change the way the game works, probably.
yeah, I think you would have to change some things. Because, well, I don't know. It would just be a lot to handle. The game would have to know where every single row is instead of knowing where a big texture is.
Yeah, I think that's the same reason why we won't see, how do I put it, dynamic ground like it's SnowRunner, because it'd just be too much for the game to handle.
Looks like we
not
missed
gonna-
something there, but there's nothing there. Well, we got a whole nother field to do, so it don't matter if the bale... Well, I think this thing might unload partials. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish up this last pass here. I don't know if I'm going, guys.
Do we want to unload finished bales? What's our progress on this?
I'm keeping the bale
90.
in my baler.
Will it mess it up if you start mixing cotton in from another contract?
I
No.
imagine it's going to the same place, so... I just don't know if we're going to be... Well, we shouldn't be short anywhere. Because if we get any extra, it should just think it's for the next field, so...
Numeral are we on to next? That big old field 12?
The sugar beets work
Yes.
themselves out.
Guess I have to go down the road with my head unfolded. Because I've
Yeah,
got a cotton bale in the back.
Same here. Got 25% of the bale, so I can't smush it.
Well,
I'm
it's good thing you
safe
got
now. I
the-
turned on my flashers and beacon.
Yeah, I'd like to just see better row crop on any scale.
Well, it's a good thing this is a very populated part of the country here, is that the traffic is considerably light. Very rural.
I'm not going to fit down this gap.
Nope, you have to go on the north. You have to go on the east side of those buildings. Appears to be a lot of streetlights on this road.
Oh, it fits. It fits. Mostly because I'm awesome.
I go to your head now.
Too late. It's already swelled.
That's what is there, 1 million downloads of GDA?
Oh, that one's hiding in the tree. Ouch.
That was a quick stop.
Practicing for later, probably.
You guys wish you could drive as well as me.
I'll be right back.
We need to start playing Wreckfest so we can really bang on each other's cars.
I bought
I'll
it.
even-
Played a little bit.
I'll even jump out of the harvester just in case somebody else wants to do some cotton harvesting. Need another beverage.
And with this field, you're just gonna pick straight across the waterway or section it.
I think we'll turn at the waterway. I like when the modders put boot prints on the interior on the floor when they get dirty. I like that. Oh, somebody's taking that old blue tractor somewhere. I thought I was the only one that drove that thing.
We are on the blue farm, so I thought it'd be appropriate. Fertilizer.
Oh, I'd have used the Rubicon.
Oh yeah, but then it'll be over. Doesn't take long with that.
I discovered last night that the Rubicon will fit over grapevine.
Oh, does it really?
Barely. You have to get a run and go at it, but
I think that's how I would be doing it. Should mod one just a touch taller and grape edition. Make it purple.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
the
orange would be perfect.
that orange jack tie little sprayer works quite well. Every fourth row. You only have to do every fourth row, I think. So every fifth row. So we have 63 rows of grapes. Western Wild.
I didn't see that, Chris. What did he release over there? This thing's got some nice animations on it. It is quite a bit different than the ones you guys got too.
Yeah, I was just looking it up on their website. Apparently the cotton harvester we're using got replaced with a newer model. It is now the CP770.
What model is that one?
690, I think.
I have a CS 770.
What is that, 8 or 12 row head?
I count 12.
That's interesting. It's got a smaller engine, but it's got a wider head on it.
It seems to got plenty of power anyway. Slow down anywhere. This is not really a bad width for this map. A couple of these would be not a bad way to do a cotton setup over here. I like to run a lot of 12 to 16-row stuff. That's where I'm happiest. What's those do? 6 or 8?
Looks like 6.
Do you release another Glaner, or is it the one I probably already have, the N6 and 7? Yeah, I think we'll section it off, because it's got a pretty decent dip in it. I already got the N6 and 7, but I seen somebody had an F2, and I need to find that one.
I'm surprised you didn't put that 710 in here. That just came out.
I don't keep things very well updated. Try not to have too many mods on. The console guy's got limited storage.
Not anymore. I feel like I got loads of storage now.
Yeah, but the game hasn't been out a year and we could fill it.
Oh yeah, but that's what Xbox used to have.
Did you fill your fancy new drives full yet?
No.
Yeah, well, I'll give it another week or two.
No, I don't plan on filling it. It is nice to, you know, like Forza is much better now.
Yeah,
Not on
I
a
moved
hard
all.
drive.
Yeah, that's what I moved a lot of my games over to it just because it boots them so much faster.
I don't play enough games to need to have very many of them on. So, you know, it's just Farm Sim, ATS, and Forza. I don't play anything else at the moment.
I need to move the ATS over there eventually, but I keep forgetting to.
That's a nice idea there, CBW. I should, I've looked at Dimco ones. The problem is I can't model much more in a cube. I should reach out,
I want to get a second
see
drive,
if they can
but
send me like a
it was
CAD
such
file.
a pain mounting the first one.
I got 3 drives now.
Yeah, you had someone put them in for you too, didn't you?
No, I did it all myself. I did the
Oh.
power supply too. Which I
That's
thought
nice.
was going to be much more difficult than it was, but it was like 4 cables.
How would you like trying to thread in those little 2mm screws then?
That was a pain in the butt because it fits between my graphics card and my CPU.
Yeah, same
And-
problem for me.
Yeah, and my CPU is just like a heatsink style cooler. So that was a bit of a pain. And I'm not really sure how well I got it in there, but I must have it in there well enough because it's working. But I don't think I'd want to give it a good shake down there. It might come undone.
Oh, mine's liquid cooled.
I put mine in the easier to get to port. It's like in between my graphics card and where all my SATA stuff plugs in. I got another one up by my CPU, but that's an even tighter spot to try to mount it in.
I really should have probably removed my graphics card to put it in. but I didn't really want to do that. Not that
Oh,
it can't be but
yeah.
like 2 screws and pull it out, but
I didn't even think about doing that when I put mine in. Yeah, it's not hard to take the graphics card out. It literally is just like a couple screws.
you know, my luck, I would pull it off and break it or something, and that's an expensive piece to play with.
What do you have for a card now? I can't remember.
5600 XT. It's fine enough. It does most games in 1440, so...
Yeah.
And I don't have enough internet to output a 4K stream. I actually don't have enough output to do 1440, but the streams seem to look fine.
I'm watching you at 480p because that's what auto keeps kicking me down to.
That seems to be where mine wants to auto everything. It's to 480.
Oh shoot, I gotta pull up the No Man's Sky streams to AFK for the Twitch drops too today before I forget.
Mine is streaming it in at 720.
I'm gonna go straight here and then I'll backtrack and clean up this edge so that it's not jagged.
Not like this. Yeah, that's what I was just gonna make a straight pass. So if you clean it up, that would be nice.
Because it's gonna annoy me otherwise.
Yeah, I picked up myself a gaming chair yesterday, so I got a new seat I'm sitting in here.
Want to get 32 gigs of RAM sooner, but I'm gonna hold out for a while.
And see, that's what because 32 would be nice. I got some things, when I'm doing some things, it's like using 11 to 12 of the 16 I have.
Yeah, newer games are starting to eat up a lot more too.
So it would be great to have more, but at the same time, I don't know, I might switch to like a DDR5 motherboard. As I see, that's becoming pretty standard, so I don't know. RAM's pretty cheap, like $100. I could get another
Yeah.
16,
That's my
gigs, but I don't
thinking
know
is
if
that-
that's worth doing or just wait for a board.
I figure it's cheap enough that I can justify upgrading.
Yeah, of course I know who Clutch is.
My board and CPU are old enough, I might as well start over new in a couple of years. I can always swap my 2060 in if I need to.
And that's what my CPU is pretty good, but it's just old enough that I think it's actually what holds me back in Farm Sim, even though but Farm Sim's so poorly optimized.
The same boat I'm in, I got a i5, it's a couple generations past. It's fast still, but it's only a 6-core.
I got a Ryzen 7, but it's way back. It's old. It's a 3700X. So that's like 2 or 3 generations old. And it's 16 core. I think it's 16 core, but Farm Sim uses 2.
Yeah, AMD likes their core count.
So when I'm doing most things, it's pretty fast. Like even when I'm loading things in Blender, like I can take a map out of GE and into Blender, and it's pretty fast. They're paired. It's a pretty good pair, but for like Farm Sim, I could use more hertz because this game doesn't use enough cores. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do anything till the next Farm Sim because it's plenty good for this and it does all the other games I want to run. I was worried about Forza, but shoot, I run Forza in 1440 and more frames than I need. Yeah.
Last week was the first time I had trouble with Forza. I don't know why it started dropping frames out of the blue like that all of a sudden.
I had another race.
Out.
Had another race that I had to turn it back down because it was crash again. Which is odd because I do get the gives me a warning that low VRAM, but I don't know how I'm gonna have low VRAM and you're doing over 120 frames. So I don't know what the issue is.
I never had that, but I used to get the low streaming bandwidth when it was on my spinning drive still if I drove too fast for too long, because it just couldn't load stuff in fast enough.
Yeah, that's a nice series Clutch is doing. That's typically what my single player saves are like. I run a lot of older stuff.
ETS does chug once in a while and you get in like tree heavy areas for me.
Yeah, mine will do that too. When I get into cities, you're on this path.
Oh,
When I get into
sorry.
cities, it gets a little. Oh no, I backed up. I think you're farther than I was.
Yeah, some cities it chugs a little too, but I could live with that in ETS. It won't kill me to not have a stable 60.
Yeah, so when I get into cities, it likes to drop some frames, and I could probably adjust some settings and get it to run fine. And then I get a micro stutter every time it saves, which I don't think there's anything around that. Well, Forza streams are tough, Chris, because like now it's not really anything for me to look down and read chat. But Forza, it's hard to read chat at 150 miles an hour and race at the same time. And apparently my bot is broken. Let's see if I can fix it on the straight bit.
Worked again?
Oh, it doesn't want to do heist, but I don't remember if I actually turned it on.
Runza is hiring, which means you could work with.
I wish I could get that 85,000 FPS that GTA was showing when I was messing with it yesterday.
Oh, but the fun work environment is pretty great too, right?
Not quite sure what I did to make that display that wrong.
The flexible schedules.
Love that. Means I can have fries any time of day.
It's fry o'clock somewhere. Apply today at runza.com/jobs or text Runza to 242424. Runza makes it all better.
There's a place that's shaped by more than county lines and state borders. It's a place we call home, where moments are shared, where communities are strengthened, and life's special memories happen right here. No matter what home is to you, we're the local bank that can help you make the most of it, because we're more than a bank in Nebraska. We're Nebraska in a bank. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC.
Kylie is a Runza burger lover.
Especially if it's smothered with sauteed onions and French onion dip and topped with Swiss cheese.
Ah, sounds like you just had the French onion burger at Runza.
Yes. Yes, I did.
Are you crying?
Yeah, it's the onions. Wait, are you crying?
Yeah, because I love the French onion burger. Come on.
You want to try starting a heist quick draw? See if that works. Maybe it'll work for you. Clearly, the loyalty points are working, so I don't know why the heist is broken.
Oh yeah, it looks like we were all wrong. It's not a black sheep map it's looking at. It's Backroads County.
Oh, Backroads, that's from FSG.
Yeah, we just posted it in Discord earlier.
I seen a few teases on that map. It looks okay. It's gonna have to have a feature make me want to play it, I think, though. Gonna have to have, like, Bloomfield's growth schedule or something added to it.
I didn't have enough horsepower. That was the last.
Oh, Hydro doesn't have no horsepower for his 100. And it may have gotten reset too. Like I said, I don't know what happened when I reinstalled everything, if everything was quite right or not.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a reset. 0.08 hours. I had more hours watching you than you did.
Oh yeah, you usually get here before I get here.
I was nearly late this week.
Yeah, I know I won't make it next weekend since I work all weekend.
Nor do I remember how to make.
No, I just thought I'd do a house where you were talking PC stuff because I had no clue what you were talking about. Let's try this then.
Trying to check all my stuff, and this guy's behind me wants my bail, and he doesn't say nothing.
I left you one down on my end. It was here too. You know where that little NPC building is?
Entertaining if you just gradually saw the nose of the JCB roll into screen.
I also can't figure out how to change, you know, when you do your little horsepower thing. It says unranked. I don't know how to change or set those. I should really watch some videos and learn how to do some things. I do have a nice intro thing. I can run that again, show it off, people in chat, in case they missed it. Everybody see it?
I've seen it, but I didn't see it.
Okay, well, let me see if I can do it again. Let me see if I just hit the button and it works.
I don't see anything yet.
Oh, I won.
So I did that this weekend. That was neat. Thought that intro made things seem a little more professional.
Alright, I'm a nobody.
Yeah, because I remember somewhere where I could set, you know, you get so many points if you're just watching, and then you get more points if you chat and chat, but nobody appears to be getting any points for just watching.
I must have, because I had 0.08 hours.
Well, if you don't go too far, Roscoe, I'll have another one for you.
Yep.
So I'll have to look into some of those things again, see if I can't fix them.
50% away from a bale. I mean, 25% away from a bale.
Should reinstate.
You're right, Chris. You are never going to get those hand tools if I keep playing around with YouTube. You are correct. Yeah, I just thought I needed an intro thing now. Want to do some little modding videos, like when this update drops, how to work around new save game. It's going to show people, you know, that are on PC. If you got a map that's got a growth schedule that you like, how to move that over to a map that has a generic one. May get a little more difficult. Show people how to add crops to a map. You can show people how to add the animals from Hofbergman onto maps. Some videos that I think a lot of people would like to watch and learn how to do if people make an easy to follow along video. All that stuff's pretty easy. It just takes a little time and you have to know how to do it.
Now that rules me out.
Because it's not like I ever know how to actually do anything. I just do it and then I go, well, it either worked or it didn't. So once I figure out how to do them, I can make videos so other people can do it. I'm not sure if you can give points away or not, Chris.
What do you think of
I don't know if there's a give command. I'd have to look.
With the North American streamers that were at FarmCon?
I think they did a good job.
Yeah, I liked it. It was interesting to hear their thoughts on stuff.
It's crazy how fast, like, Farmer Cop and Farm Sim Guy, how fast their channels have gotten big.
Oh yeah, I remember when I first found Farmer Cop and some of his stuff in 19, like his testing out tires and stuff. His channel was tiny then.
Yeah, those guys have had astronomical fast growth. Driver 53 is kind of the same way. He had astronomical growth. And I don't think that's very common, you know, like all three of those guys, 2 years and they're 20 and 30,000 subs. That doesn't, I don't think that's normal. I don't think that happens like that.
It's not. It's just weird to me when I see these guys that are new that got like double the subs that Klein does when he's been putting out videos for how long.
Yeah, Klein's been doing it a long time, but Klein takes a little different avenue with his channel. He's definitely a little bit different than everybody else with his content, with what he puts out. And I just do it because I figured I'm spending the time on the computer. How hard can it be to, you know, put some streams together? And it's a little more difficult than I think than a lot of people think it is. It takes a little time to figure out, but if you're spending that much time on a computer or on an Xbox or PlayStation, figure it out, hit some buttons and stream, because you never know, you know. I could be the next channel that takes off, or, you know, we've got guys in chat like CBW, Rabid Rob, Eric the Crazy Viking. They could be the next channels to take off. Like all those guys said, you know, you just put one video out that everybody hits, and all of a sudden you're huge.
I thought about it. Even with the amount of time I've got free to do the stuff, I still don't have a lot of time to be doing it. And, everything else, I'm still trying to do videos, edit, stream.
I change what I'm playing too much. It would drive people crazy if they were watching the stream. Because I'd probably never finish anything.
I don't think I've played anything else.
That's one thing I found very lucky about my channel so far anyway, is my ATS streams do every bit as good, some of them better, than my farm sim stuff, so pretty fortunate for that to happen.
Yeah, I know all of us just pull them both up so we can see both perspectives. That's what I do during convoy, and I just switch between them.
I think we might get Rabid Rob start doing them too. I think it would be interesting to have everybody that's in the convoy do them, because I know there's action that I don't catch on my streams that happens, that Klein doesn't catch. Everybody has an accident, and it's good to always view it. You know, it's like NASCAR. You got to have 13 cameras in the same rack.
But if you never saw it, then it never happened, right?
Right. If you don't see it, it didn't happen.
Some have more accidents than others.
Sometimes I have more accidents than others.
Sometimes we just have a bad night all around because we can't drive or get something too top heavy.
Yeah, you get a new load that doesn't behave at all.
Like that weird railroad one. What was that, railroad ties or something?
Yeah, that railroad ties or deals, whatever they were, those were awful.
That tanker was a little tipsy too a couple of weeks ago. I think that was the week that you missed when your PC was having issues.
Yeah, I missed that week.
Still think you should do like a showcase.
You want to get this last pass? Because I'm just not quite wide enough, but you should be able to get it if you're
I'll get it.
Big boy one.
And yeah, that's something we need to do a better job of in ATS, is we need to show everybody's stuff off a little better. And everybody spends a lot of time creating, you know, new truck, new paint job, or whatever. And you don't get to see them very much.
If I'm building a new truck, it probably takes me a good half hour at least.
Yeah, it's at least a half hour to do a truck. And you can spend anywhere up to like 2 hours doing a truck. It's not that hard to waste that much time doing one.
Especially if you're dealing with paint, you're, you know, customizing your paint schemes. I mean, using the base game decals, but changing them all up.
And then you get trucks with 1,000 lights. You know, you got to put every stupid light on the dang truck. They don't have just packages.
I wish Harbin would update his stuff soon, because I kind of want to start driving Largo again.
I like the W990. It's my favorite truck. It's a modern truck. It's got all the lights I could ever need. I think it looks good. I like the mirrors. That's a big thing for me on a lot of trucks. Like, I don't like the new old International because the mirrors, I can't see the driver's side mirror.
I just don't like how they implemented that truck not having cruise control display on your computer and stuff. Makes it so I won't drive it without using the mod for it.
So the W990 has got everything I want, you know. It's got distance to empty, it's got cruise control, The mirrors are in a good spot. Lights up like a Christmas tree.
I think we're gonna get a new truck soon because Western Star's been teasing stuff on Facebook with SCS again these past couple of weeks.
We think we're gonna get the one that everybody's put a mod out on now. That older one.
Could be because we got that international that's out of production, so
I'd like more base game old trucks. It would be nice.
what do I want to run right now? Do I want to buy another truck? Or do I want to stick a big Detroit in something again?
I don't even remember what I drove last week.
You drove the Pink Panther.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
You
I'll pick something
that
different
blue
this
truck.
week. I figured that big pink truck would make everybody a little jealous.
Remember what I had now either? Was it a 379?
I was driving the K100 and I went back into my Pete today. So.
I know that K100's not the fastest truck, but I just love that truck.
It's a nice truck. It's a cab over, and I'm not a huge cab over fan. It's a really nice cab over, but I'd really like to have. It's just always broken. That dang Pete.
If Dialing updates his R-Series add-on pack, I'll have Klein add that, because that makes the R-Series a decent truck then. Because
Yeah,
you put bigger tanks on it.
Looks good as a Superliner too.
Yeah, I think
And
we
I
just
think-
updated the Superliner not too long ago again.
Would be a good one to add that Superliner in, because it kind of crosses over with Farm Sim.
I'm just wondering, you know, like I said, I put a new paint scheme on my trailer, dry van, 400 reefer, depending which loads we haul today. But I'm hoping it's going to be able to show up.
Well, I think I'll see it, because I think I own most all the paint packs. And I think that might have been what we were running into, is guys didn't own the paint pack.
Yeah, if you don't own a paint pack, then I think I thought it was supposed to just default to the basic trailer painters, but maybe
Well,
they changed
but-
something.
But I don't know, being in the beta too, who knows what that messes with.
I know I'd see it just fine because I own everything for ATS.
I'm ready for a new state to come out though. It's be nice to explore some new.
Oh, the map is gonna be like perfectly square for the first time in a long time too. No jankiness like when you drove through Idaho and
Yeah.
other odd spots.
That'll be a nice, to run down that edge there from Montana all the way to New Mexico. It'll be a nice straight trip.
I don't think we're gonna get Texas before Christmas, if I'm being honest. We'll have to live with this for a while.
Yeah, I think it took longer to get Montana out than I expected, so I don't think we'll be seeing. We'll be lucky if we get Texas this year. Christmas would make a lot of sense for them.
Yeah, they used to be popping maps out every 6 months, but it's been well over that since Wyoming came out.
Well, it's some big states. Montana's a big state, really. Texas is a massive state, and I'm sure they want to get a
Texas
lot
is
in
gonna
it.
yeah. It's gonna take a long time to explore all of Texas when it drops. I'm just looking at the thing off their blog.
I think Montana's going to be plenty to explore. Wyoming actually had a fair amount for no more than is realistically in Wyoming, which is nothing. And then kind of I'm really curious to see what they do next, because so Texas is going to be big, we know that. How are they going to handle Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, and Dakotas?
That's
they
kind
would
of what
be
I was wondering.
would
Will
be
they give
smart
us,
to at
like-
least package the Dakotas together because there's not much up. I mean, there is some neat things in South Dakota. You know, you've got Mount Rushmore. The Badlands are really cool to drive through. The Black Hills could stand alone, probably. Nebraska, there's not much. We don't have much in Nebraska that's interesting. Points of
yeah.
interest.
I think they're gonna
You're
start
probably going to
bundling.
get, you know, I mean, North Platte is the biggest rail yard in the country, but outside of that, we don't have much excitement for ATS.
Yeah, it's the same deal as where I am here in Iowa. It's going to be flat land for 90% of the state. Copy pasted over, probably.
I think you could, you know, if you bundled the Dakotas together, that would be a nice bundle. I think you could put Nebraska, Kansas, and Iowa in a 3-state bundle. I think that would be all pretty similar. I don't know what you do with Oklahoma.
I think they'll probably put part of it in Texas because you got this stupid little handle that's
Well, they're going to
be in
have
the
to,
way.
the panhandle is going to have to probably be added, I think.
Even if there's no towns in it, they're going to have to put roads to drive across it in. Otherwise, you're going to have a
Didn't
really...
they do that with, like, New Mexico?
I
Or
don't
Colorado,
remember.
one of them had roads before the state was there. How much longer we want to go for here? It's going to be a while before we get this knocked out.
A pretty good sized field.
Usually I send everybody to CBW if somebody, one of the moderators, wants to see if he's around or if he's got a stream up. What time is Klein starting?
Noon, I think, if you want to send people that way.
Like
Oh, yeah,
6 minutes noon?
Yep, he's already on his pre-show.
Oh, well, let's send everybody. Somebody wants to post the link to Farmer Klein today. We'll go raid Farmer Klein.
I got a barbecue to fire up here right away. Got some steaks to burn. I mean, cook.
Well, I could go for some steak. That'd be better than what I find in the freezer. Unless I get dressed and go out to get something. Then I'd have to go outside.
That's something else I need to learn, is all the, like, YouTube commands for rating and all that kind of stuff. There's really a lot of this stuff I need to look into, but I just don't have enough time. We'll get there someday.
Too many forks in the fire, but no way to deal with them all.
Oh, I just don't want to. That's part of it. It's too much work. Too much work to look up a YouTube video on how to do something in YouTube.
Alright, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go fire up the queue.
Thanks for posting that, Hydra. So if everybody wants to go jump over to Farmer Klein, check out a new map. Sounds like we're checking out a new map over there today. We'll roll on for 5 more minutes here, and we'll jump off here at noon. And we'll go hang out with Farmer Klein for the next couple hours.
I guess that would be a PC map.
No, I think it's headed for all platforms, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, it's all platforms, it says in the description. 5 pre-built farms, 2 custom cows, PGA line, wood, sawmill, 33 fields, and 7 productions.
Well, I shouldn't say everything FSG does, because they do both. Because they do got some script mods and stuff. I think FSG try to do everything for all platforms, just, you know, some of their script mods they can't.
I don't think I'm real familiar with FSG. What have they put out in the past?
I think Chainsaw Valley is theirs.
That's definitely one that I didn't play then, 'cause it's a logging map.
And then they've got, you know, they've got a few modded pieces of equipment. They've got a big log fork. Dusty Lands, that mod is from them.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to take a look at that. I've been using the exhaust one lately.
Catch you later, Rooster. Thanks for dropping in and hanging out. Go hang out with Farmer Klein for the next couple hours. Be a good place to go. Yeah, Dusty Lands is nice. I like it. I like using both of them together. Thanks for stopping in, Quick Draw. It's always nice to hang out with you, buddy. Now the nice thing about Dusty Lands is you can control the dust level. It's just a nice little thing. That's the type of PC mods that are, you know, little quality of life things that don't really do anything, but when you don't have them, you're like, oh, where's my dust? Yep, thanks for stopping in, Chris Miller. We'll catch you over there. Be nice when we can get you on this map. What was that, Hydra?
All the fertilizers.
I think Dwayne's harvester is free if you want to jump on that.
I think Dwayne is sitting in harvester.
Did he forget to jump out of it?
Yeah. What's that like? What's it bugging out?
I can fix him. That should have booted him out. Alright, I'm gonna roll my intro thing one more time for everybody, and then I'm gonna end the stream.
Why didn't it make it an outro? Alright, thanks everybody for stopping in. Try and keep it shiny side up.